kind of stencil I used. This one's more similar but different, but it's the same, the brass I think. The problem that I had was getting it back out off this, and it damaged the stamp a little bit. It still works okay. I'm gonna just do this bottom bit, and I'm gonna use glycerin, because I can't find my silicone spray. I know there's two different types, and this is vegetable glycerin. Not sure what the other one is. It's a bit of an oily sort of substance, so I was hoping, it's like a wetting agent, I was hoping that it might help release, but you do not want any underneath at all if you can help it. So basically a dryish brush, and I'm just wiggling it around from the top downwards, and then I'll wipe the bottom off. It might do nothing, it might never set, it might help it, you know, who knows. There's still some, yeah, it's still moist. Did I do that one? I mean, I might be getting absolutely nothing on here, but I do have some silicone spray that I use with my sewing machine to get on the foot bit, to get stuff that's sticky, like pretend leather and stuff like that, to make it glide through a lot easier. Right, I know that this is a top because it's got a mark there. You definitely wipe the bottom off with a flat tissue, then it doesn't go up inside. Sorry, I shouldn't talk with a brush in my mouth, should I? Shouldn't be putting a brush in my mouth, but I'm running out of space to put it down. Right, so this is, which I didn't use last time, I used it on a craft mat, but you could see the weave in there. All I've done is rolled the excess up and put a couple of hair grip things, and these, they're really handy. Your earphone wire goes in there, and you're meant to clip them to your collar. If anybody's throwing any away, pinch this bit before they throw them. Really handy because they're flat. Right, obviously you're not going to want this to move at all until it's dried. So do it before you go to bed, say, or oh, this tape is disgusting. It's old and evil. It leaves goop behind. There's goop on top of it, but it's sticky. Right, as I say, I'm going to try and miss everything else out. Actually, go back just a tiny bit. I'm just after these three emblems and the arrows, so that ain't going nowhere. Obviously can't tape down here because I need to I don't know whether to do it with that or a soft paste. this one really needs to bend quite a bit because you have to peel it out, and it takes a bit of poking as well. So what's this one? Is that the sand one? Sorry. Right. This is, I don't want to turn it on its side too much, else it'll get all over the top. It's like, it's a modelling paste, but it's like really, really, really thick acrylic paint. That's the nearest thing I can tell you. It's like incredibly thick paint, but I know that I'll have to fill it up, let it dry and fill it up, but I had to do that with the other one anyway. So you're basically just trying to fill it up and make sure, or I'd put your mat on a very hard surface. I've got this on a book. Make sure that you've got all your holes filled. This first layer is important, that you get, you know, it all filled in. What I forgot to tell you at the time was that the mat that I'm actually doing it on, the red one, is a silicone baking sheet from Asda, I think it was, but a lot of places sell them, sure you can find one. Right, I know it's going to sink when it dries, but if you can try and keep it, act like a machine. So I never finish my sentences properly. I either give you ums or and gestures, which half the time you can't see. That's sticking up. Act like a machine and try and get it as smooth as possible. And obviously it's on top of the stencil as well as down through the stencil. We'll just have to see what happens. I filled it in 3 or maybe 4 times and let it dry naturally. I would definitely not take a heat gun to this at all. Really not a good idea. Just bear with and let it go. Right, I've built it up. That's how thick it is, and you can see that I've got it quite thick, and it's not mega smooth, but it's as smooth as I could get it. I sort of dollop that last lot on, but you need to let it dry. I'm hoping. Tell you, this stuff is horrible. Right, let's see if that stuff worked. The vegetable glycerine. Oh, this is much easier. I shouldn't speak too soon, but this is much easier coming off than the big. I had to poke really badly from this side, and this side's obviously a printing side, so you want to keep that as neat as possible. just coming off really nice in comparison. And if you stretch it a little bit, don't worry too much. If you leave it for a bit, it goes back in shape. Oh yeah, that is so much easier. That means I can do a big one. Come on. That means I can do all that. Dun dun dun. Let's just hope this stamp's good, eh? Right, trim, 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 trim. There's a couple of little bits that have seeped underneath, but you can see that they're, I am in for them. You can see that they're coming off, you know. No problem. But I don't know if it's down to the stuff I actually used, or the vegetable glycerin. That was a lot, and it'll obviously come off here as well. That was a lot easier to demould, shall we say. Right, so here I'm just doing like I did on the first video on making my own stamps from the silicone icing moulds. Just doing a watered down material contact adhesive, making sure that it's definitely wet on the foam to give it a bit more cling than it naturally would as a hard skin. I haven't brought my other one up. When you're cutting it out, if you cut with your scissors on an angle going all the way around, it helps eliminate, I didn't get that bit right good, it helps eliminate you getting ink on that bit and it's stamping, you know, on your paper where you don't want it to. I know mine need going round. But yeah, chamfer the edge off, I think it's chamfer. So you got your flat, and instead of it just going straight back down, it's sort of flat at an angle and then down. It does help just to do that. But watch you don't obviously cut into your stamp. Right, yeah, as I said, you know what I'm doing, so I'll wait until this is dry and put it together and stamp. Fingers crossed. Right, I finished it off, and I don't know if you can tell, but we're sort of inserting bits of what do you call it, dub over in between the actual video sound, and you can see that it's stamped really well. Really pleased with it. They carry their ink really, really good, and I've actually come up with a couple more ideas, so hopefully they'll be coming soon. I think you're part way through another video, aren't you? and there's another one yet to do, so please give it a thumbs up and like it and comment, ask questions, anything you need to know, subscribe, and do some. Cat, why are you poking me? Yeah, get out there and do some. They're good fun and they increase your stash. Alright, bye bye. Bye bye.